Namaskar. Good evening to all of my listeners. Today we will discuss a very important topic, that is unrest in Nepal, which is one of the closest neighbor to India. Previously we had unrest in Sri Lanka, which is also a neighbor. We have also unrest in Bangladesh. Sri Lanka's unrest was due to economic problem, purely economic problem. There was very high inflation. People could not afford to purchase, so they revolted against the government. But in Bangladesh, there was no economic crisis. There was political crisis in the Bangladesh. So the people revolted, and Hasina government won. But in Nepal, there was the there was protest in silence before this happening. This was purely a youth movement in Nepal. The youth, they are called Gen Z. Gen Z means the generation Z, which is between 13 years to 28 years. This is their movement. They protested and became very much violent, even so violent that they fired the parliament house, they fired the prime minister's residence. The political class uh, went away from the power. Why this happened? This happened due to a trigger of the Nepal government. They banned the social media. Though there was brewing of revolt against the government, but the main trigger was due to ban of social media by Nepal government. There was a revolt in the mind of the Nepali youth, because the political class was enjoying all the elite class lifestyle, but general youth are very in a depressed condition. They are unemployed, and corruption was very high in the political class. So, from the fall of monarchy in the 2008 to 2025, within the 17 years, there are 13 prime ministers. So, the one after another prime minister was coming, but they were involved in corruption. So, the Gen Z or youth of Nepal was seeing what was happening between the politicians, how the corruption is spreading between in the political class. And there was also a very high unemployment. The Nepali youths are going to the neighboring countries for their livelihood. So they became very much violent, and there was complete chaos, and some politicians hid in behind the barrack. So, it is not that the ex prime minister's wife was also brought before by the public. So this was very violent in Nepal. So after some violence, there was a person, Balen Saha, who was mayor of the Kathmandu. He pacified the Nepali youth, and the Nepali youth calmed down, and they demanded before the president of the Nepal to appoint one interim prime minister for restoration of democracy. But Balen Saha was not agreed to form the government, interim government. So they demanded before the president to appoint the Susila Karki, who was ex-Chief Justice of Nepal Supreme Court as Prime Minister, interim Prime Minister. Susila Karki was reluctant but later agreed. How the Susila Karki has been selected as Prime Minister by the JNG? JNG developed a app, and this app was used by all the youths, and they voted in the app for Susila Karki. So now the Susila Karki has become the interim Prime Minister of Nepal. Her education was in India in BHU, Banaras Hindu University. So she is inclined towards India. She has taken his education in the Banaras Hindu University. But her husband was a hijacker of plane, Royal Nepal plane. How a hijacker's wife become Prime Minister of Nepal, but he hijacked the plane for the bringing democracy in the Nepal. So the cause of hijacking was very pious, was very ideal hijacking, ideal nature of hijacking. So the now the Nepal has little calmed down, but this is a whistle blow for also all the countries of the South Asia. India cannot become the victim of such a state because India has a good performance. Thank you.